absolutely abominable. There is no any corrupt government in the world more than those who are governing the state of affairs in our country. And he knows it, my brother knows that.
I want to give an opportunity to have a direct response to the allegations.
Well, it's a litany of half-truths, a litany of falsehoods, and also it doesn't take cognizance of the dramatic changes which can happen with the coming in of the Second Republic in 2017. Maybe it was a little bit at the periphery of MDC at that particular time. He doesn't know the role which his former president, the late Mutsvangwa, discharged in the rebirth of the Second Republic. The MDC previously tried to unseat Mugabe as he became old, corrupt, and responsible for all this litany of abuses which he's talking about.
You accept this litany of abuses?
Yes, that's why I took center stage. Since 2014, there's a lot of stuff which is still classified, which I will be happy to start revealing to the Zimbabwean public as to what the war veterans, who have always been the game changers in the history of this country, did after they spent more than 20 years trying to unseat Mugabe to no avail. We just decided to do it because we have a pedigree of doing that. We made Zimbabwe. That's our pedigree. And when things could definitely begin to go wrong, we intervened as war veterans. I was the chairman. So I can't be told about changes which I was responsible for by somebody who is a rank outsider. That's why I'm saying he may not be privy to what Tsvangirai and us did to make sure that Mugabe goes. And since that departure point in 2017, in 2018, the things which he's talking about have been corrected. That's why we can get more votes in rural areas than them. They never could get a seat in the last election. Remember, the last arbiter, the most important arbiter in democracy, that's why I said we've got democratic pedigree since 1980, is the voter. If this is true about what he's saying, we would have lost dismally in the rural vote. They would have snatched the 7 seats which belonged to us. They couldn't as an opposition. He waxes lyrical about the victimization of the MDC, owning up to the fact that they are Triple C, the MDC. He's owning up. He laments Mufumi, he laments this one, he laments that one. These are the same people who, if we're going to be calling elections tomorrow, they will be fielded by the Triple C as their candidates. So it is the same old wine in new bottles. And the electorate is not a fool. That's why they clobbered them for their episodic urban record. They did. But anyway, coming to, he may not be privy. I was the one who turned around the leaf tobacco industry in this country as ambassador in Zimbabwe in China. So by bringing the largest tobacco company in the whole world, and for almost since 2005, the biggest foreign currency earnings have been coming from the leaf tobacco industry, the golden leaf. I knew what happened because I was at the center of it to revive that industry. The gold industry, 2014, 2013, we made a resolution in the war veterans that Mugabe and his cronies were wrong in stopping young people from mining gold. They used to send the police, with new tunics, with new trenchons, with new boots, with new radios, to chase young people trying to dig gold. When the history of this country is about people digging gold, we said no. I said no in cabinet. I was in cabinet. And now this industry is supporting the Scotch subquanias. There are young people, 30, 40, 50,000 of them, digging gold and contributing 2/3 of gold to the national coffers. This is the record of the Second Republic. We are building the largest steel plant in Africa today. We will be the top league in the next 4 to 5 to 6 years. If you go from, if maybe he doesn't, he's an educated man. If he doesn't want to drive to Chivu to go and see what is there, it's only 2 hours away, to see a giant steel plant mushrooming, sprouting out of the red soils of Manise.
Do you owe me a tip to?
Yes, this is, we can go together. This is the top man in steel in the world, who has been attracted by Emerson Dabudzo Mnangagwa, even after Grace Mugabe tried to frustrate him, to reinvest in Zimbabwe, starting with ferrochrome in Selu, now coking coal in Hwange, which is now a booming town. Hwange is booming right now as we talk. It's a booming town. Hwange is Go and see the Tongas there, the Nebeles there. They are in a completely new town. The third stage is the steel plant in Chivu. The implications from 1.2 million tons of steel come March next year is 5 to 6 million tons of cargo, whether it be ferrocoking coal, whether it be exported steel, whether it be limestone. This is going to revive the railways. This is being done by the Second Republic. We are planning new ports in Mozambique. So I don't know what he's talking about. You try to, it's 9 or 5 o'clock today, already now, going to watch it through the window of this building. Cars everywhere. No queues for fuel. Everybody's going to buy fuel without having a queue. People are not starving. If you are oblivious to that as the opposition, when the electorate on 26 March was aware of those things and judged us accordingly, then you stumble into an election in a bad manner, and all you then do is when you lose, because you are deluded to think that change is not happening when the change is before your eyes. The electorate will put an X for change in 2023. These guys will be out of power because of their solid record of non-performance, but also because of their ostrich approach to the changes which are being wrought by the Second Republic. They are burying their head into the sand when the electorate is seeing something totally different in Emerson Damuzomnanga. I know, because I am a prime player in the huge world-class investments which are being done by the Second Republic to change this country. That's why the IMF says the economy is growing at 5.5%. It's their friend. And what is their record? Him, his boss, going to Washington. What does he do in Washington? He doesn't quote businessmen. He quotes a disgruntled congressman to say put sanctions on Zimbabwe. And when you put sanctions, who is the first one to be clobbered by sanctions? The first victim, urban areas. What does he do? No factories. No factories, no workers. No workers, no trade union movement. For a part which came from the trade union movement, it destroys the livelihood of workers, then it destroys itself. That's why in 2023, I'm very sorry, you are going to see the results. But your party is history in 23 because you are oblivious to the big changes where yellow metal in this country, yellow metal means bulldozers. The whole country is a construction site. Roads are being built, railways are being revived, steel plants are being bought, new towns are being built in Mount Hamden. We're going to build a new one again in Chivu. And you are not seeing all those things. And the electorate thinks it is not seen. X will come from an electorate which is changing its life with Pumpuza, not from the delusions which are the hallmark of this party.
But you appear to say that there are no factories. There's nothing that is coming out of Zimbabwe right now because of sanctions. But in the same vein, you are saying that this whole country is a construction site, you're creating jobs. I'm failing to find...
I'm saying that historically there have been sanctions which destroyed the economy of this country. And Mugabe did not know how, or he was actually abetting. Incidentally, their party and Mugabe are the same. GG40 and FDC.
But Mugabe survived in office because you begged him as well.
No.
You kept him in office and you removed him when you wanted.
We kept him in office when the threat was from the West. You don't open, I was saying when the enemy is at the gate. So when we saw that there was a chance now to do away with Mugabe, we did away with Mugabe in a very surgical manner, where even they themselves became part of that process. We built a broad united front. It also to their credit that for a change there was wisdom. And it's just that the wisdom died with the demise of Shangrai. Then afterwards, the party was afflicted with its usual, phoning to the Western countries. Now those Western countries which they used to worship, look at them in Ukraine. I will bet you will not get a cent now from supporting from those Western countries. That's why your president is going to London to see fringe people like Kate Hoy. The Boris Johnson, and they are busy dealing with Putin in Ukraine. This party belongs to foreigners, and that badge of foreigners is one which they must shed. If they can shed it off, and he goes back to what he said earlier about the pedigree of Zimbabwe as a country which was fought for, we come together with them. We have no problem with them as an opposition. It's in the constitution. we'll be very happy to work to build Zimbabwe. But if they've got an attitude where they say we want to disparage those who fought, we want to disparage, we are blind to the changes which Zanu people are doing to make this country livable, and they don't want to give credit where it is due. We don't want credit from them, we want credit from the electorate. We focus on the electorate.
I'll give you a last opportunity for rebuttal, then we move on to the another.
No, the most astonishing presentation that I got from my brother is that he is trying to boast about building an airport in Maputo, in Mozambique. People don't eat an airport being built in Maputo. Maputo is not Zimbabwe. He cannot pride himself for having exported the development that must be done domestically to a foreign country, and then he asks the people of Zimbabwe to clap their hands over a port that we are told exists in a foreign country on behalf of our country. That's absolutely scandalous. Secondly, it is very, very, very insulting for my brother Chris Mutsvangwa to think that the people of Zimbabwe are stupid enough for them not to know the truth. For him to allege that we are foreigners in our own motherland, and that millions and millions of people who support and voters are foreigners, it's absolutely shocking. He has been boasting here that he has been able, when he was the ambassador in China, for him to open up a relationship with the Chinese people and so forth. Where Zimbabwe is currently being turned into a colony of China. If you go into the mining sector, and wherever we go, the Chinese have taken over the operations of small miner, working facets in our country. Anything that is currently breathing a bit is owned by the Chinese. So these are the people who are responsible for having abdicated the sovereignty of our people to foreigners. Secondly, my brother, I always meet him, and he boasts that he has opened up relations with the Americans on behalf of President Idris, on behalf of Emerson Mnangagwa's government. So shocking that they themselves are the ones who always come out in newspapers and also boasting in public place and wherever they go about their now newfound relationship with the West. For them only to turn around that when the West makes very fundamental demands to them, that respect human rights, respect the will of the people, for us to be your friends. We can only be your friends when you respect the following. Respect the sovereignty of your people to elect leaders of their own choice. Don't kill opponents in your country. Don't incarcerate and arrest unnecessarily political activists who are opposed to the way how you run your country. You must be able for you to show that you are a nation among the civilized societies of the world today, as the world is now a global village. This party is responsible for the murder of several political activists in our country. We cannot forget what they have been doing since 1980 up to present. We cannot finish to mention them by name. The world does not forget that this political party, like to his own admission, he has been looting the national cake. He admitted that no, that has been done during the period of Robert Mugabe's government. But behaving as if he was not. Behaving as if Emerson Mnangagwa was not part of Robert Mugabe's government from 1980. These people have been part and parcel of the failure, the authors of this demise of our nation from 1980 up to present. For 42 years, they've been working together. They've been only fighting on who loots more than the other. There is no one who could dispute the corruption in this country, where even a government and its other surrogates and other functionaries would go as far as stealing the money belonging to COVID-19, a pandemic that had affected the whole world. Who stole the drugs? Who is the author of the drugs scandal? Who are the beneficiaries of that huge scandal against our people? Why is our hospital now a sorry state where a person would only be taken to hospital on his way to death? Why is this government has failed even to improve the education sector of our country? How would a government that claims to have achieved a lot still pays a teacher 24,000 RTGS, which is $100 in the modern world of today? How would a government that claims that they have achieved a lot have a nurse being paid 32,000 RTGS a salary? A medical doctor, 7 years after university, for him to give service to this country, being salaried 45,000 RTGS. I once got hold of a public prosecutor, Paisley, during December, including bonus. It was 42,000 RTGS. A public prosecutor, a major aspect in our country, still going on the road trying to wave for leaves to go home in a country that has been 42 years independent. We know during the period of Ian Smith and even Abraham Zorewa, teachers would be owners of general dealers in rural villages. They will be drivers of the Mazda B1600 motor vehicles. They will be the owners of the majority of houses in our high-density suburbs today. During the period of these people, a teacher is not able to purchase 500 bricks out of his salary. 500 bricks. The salary which teachers are getting cannot buy 500 bricks. So how long will that person take to be able to construct even a boy sky? And this is the results of these people's 42 years destruction of our country. Our country needs reconstruction. It needs new focus. It needs new leadership. It needs young people with a vision. The young people who will be able to show the world that they are now living in the new world of technology, the 21st century. And that can only be provided for by the Triple C under the leadership of the young advocate Nelson Chamisa. He is a young leader with a new modern vision for the nation. He will make Zimbabwe the greatest country in Southern Africa. Okay. When these people took over Zimbabwe, Zimbabwe was the second richest country from South Africa in 1980. Zimbabwe was the breadbasket of Africa. Now it's a basket case. Zimbabwe is now number 4 from the list of being the poorest country in Africa, after having been destroyed by these people.
Okay, let's just move on to the next topic because we are fast running out of time. But I wanted to understand, going into this election, Comrade Mutsvangwa, there has been allegations of vote rigging. There have been allegations of ZEC behaving unprofessionally. Now, yesterday, just when you had a press conference at Zanu here, you spoke about how these elections were well managed. Let's talk about that.
Well, they won 19 seats out of 28 from their own rivals in the MDC. Who did we provide the hunting ground for them? It is the ZEC. And they've become quiet about the fact that they won when they did a cacophony of criticisms of ZEC as they went into the election. Their main point of failure as a party is their lack of respect for the national institutions of their own country. They quarrel with the police, they quarrel with the army, they quarrel with the ZEC, they quarrel with the courts. Now, these are newborn infants. All these institutions are older than them, than their party. You know, if the MGC, it comes 20 years later after the Zimbabwean independence. Yet they want to come and give a rebirth of their mothers and fathers. They want to give birth to their mothers and fathers. They have no respect for these institutions. That's why they go to America and go to the West and give those countries the responsibility of choosing how Zimbabwe should be run. When it took 90 years of Zimbabweans to fight to make sure that we get rid of those countries, now they go phoning to them to say you are the standard bearers of how this country should be run. You saw him openly admiring Ian Smith. What does that mean? It means 100,000 Zimbabwean souls who fought from 1966 to 1979. and died for this independence. They died in vain because Smith was good. That's what he said. You know, because he's spending all his time adulating, you know, praising Ian Smith and Rhodesia. Now, where can we go with people like that? This is Africa. We are Africans. We took the pain of removing those people because there was a cause to do so. He's saying there was no cause. Now, you know, you think the electorate, which lost everyone, every Zimbabwean family lost somebody in that war. It's in vain because the MDC says Smith was good. That's precisely why they cannot make inroads, particularly in rural areas where the people bore the brunt of the fighting. But worse now in urban areas, because they went to the West and invited sanctions which destroyed urban cities. They invited them. Chamisa has got a picture with an American senator who wrote Zidera, which is still on American statutes, saying don't make Zimbabwe prosper because we want it to get rid of Mugabe. This is what that sanctions mean. They were wrote by Coltart and Welshman Nube. They were responsible, and they wrote those sanctions and gave the copy to the Americans, and the Americans then voted and put a stamp to it. This is their record.
So they're that powerful, are you saying, to influence the United States?
It's not that they are that phony, not powerful. If you're a bootlegger, you always remain a bootlegger. So that's who they are. It's not courage, it's not gumption, it's bootlegging. That is, they have to shed off that image. That's why maybe because of these elections now, that they've sorted themselves among the MDC, we are hoping that because they have their president yesterday started speaking a different language, maybe because he's used to settle scores within the MDC. Now that he feels he has won against Monzora, maybe he feels a heavy pounder. Maybe he can take a responsible attitude towards national affairs. And is now speaking of dialogue. We don't want to be exclusive when we speak of dialogue. We want to include everybody. Because look, with this 2/3 majority in parliament, we could also easily say, why should we talk to Chamisa? Because he only has got 60-something seats. You know, he says, no, 2 is better than half. We could also say 10 is better than 2. So we are not saying that. We say everybody should come. You know, you may lose, but you still love your country. That's why we have Poland. That's why our president is saying it's inclusive. Now they want to be accepted out. But by being accepted, we also accept ourselves and say we wait for the elections in 2023. Then we see who is the proper ring with the proper cock in the ring. That's what will happen because we are very confident. What he is talking about is the past. The electorate is talking about the present, about Vuvudza. And incidentally, for a landlocked country to build ports in Mozambique, it's a matter of national survival. You may not know, the Munumtapas had a port at Vilanculos, which was built in granite from Masvingo, like Great Zimbabwe. There's no granite there in Mozambique on the coast. The granite came by the Save River to build a port. So the history of Zimbabwe and Mozambique is one. We are going to Durban, 2,000 kilometers away to export. That's $3,000 more per container as inflation to the Zimbabwean economy because a container costs only $800 from Shanghai or London to get to Durban. To get to Zimbabwe by land from Durban, 2,000. We try to solve that by having new ports in Mozambique and having new railways to Mozambique so that we lower the inflation. But because of the crass ignorance about modern economic management of this party and the poverty of theory, which makes their president boss that he has no ideology, he has no structure, he doesn't care about anything, he just cares because I've got my diploma here, we are the smart ones in this country, we don't need structures. Because there's crass ignorance, lack of appreciation of organization, no respect of history, and general lack of knowledge about how the world moves around. That's the MGC.
Yeah, I want us to come into the thing of
let me finish off.
Yes.
ZERC did a fantastic job.
Yes.
It's a national institution. It's not perfect. But look, it gave them an opportunity even as they are a recast MTC to show who they are against Monzora. And they also showed themselves short against Zanu PF in the same election. So you can't have your cake and eat it. You can't say, I want the result against Monzora, but I don't want the result against Zanu PF. In the same race. We ran the same race.
But you think
so
there's anything that needs to be changed in the manner that we run elections? You said ZEC is not perfect. What are the imperfections that you think?
There's always room for improvement. The road to democracy is long. Even for the Americans, look at what happens. They can't really allow black people to vote until recently, and they still try to marginalize black people. Trump openly, uses the police to kill black people. This is the most democracy which they admire. The Americans go and destroy Ukraine in order to settle scores with Russia. This is their democracy. It goes and destroys Afghanistan. That's what they wanted to do with Zimbabwe. They wanted Zimbabwe's toast in 2004 so that the MDC could win power of a toasted country, a country which has been bombed to black toast by America. This is the lack of proper patriotic credentials, which I hope now that they have sorted themselves out and there's a certain sense of maturity coming in. I hope Nelson continues to improve. We have no problem with the Zimbabweans having differences. What we do have is one country to run. And incidentally, now that your councillors have won, some of them in these urban areas, can they go and remove rubbish? Don't say I cannot remove rubbish because July is stopping me from removing rubbish. Don't go and say children swimming in sewage because July Moyo, the Minister of Local Government, is stopping from us doing that. You go and do your job. If you don't do your job this time and you blame July Moyo, come 2023, the voter will teach you a lesson because that's what you are used to do. You don't do your job, you stay in St. Mary's, there is stinking garbage all over the place. Children have no running water. There are no jobs which you are creating. The cars cannot be driven because there are potholes, and you are in charge of St. Mary's. And you still want to say July Moyo is doing. Why do you get to be voted if you think July Moyo is going to stop you from doing the job? Why not let July Moyo run the cities and take the blame rather than get the voter under false pretenses? Please, please, please be responsible for the vote which you canvassed and deliver clean roads, paved roads, running water, collected garbage. That's what you are elected for, not to blame July Moyo or the central government.
I'll give you the opportunity for direct response.
No, that's fine. The first thing that I want to correct my brother Mutsvangwa about is that I was adulating Ian Smith. No, I was not adulating Smith. I was saying that these people's performance in terms of governance in this country is worse than that of Ian Smith. Ian Smith, despite running a segregated economy, was able for him to understand how much a teacher must obtain. These people have pauperized our people. Teachers are now paupers in their own country. And also Ian Smith, when he was fighting against those great nationalists who have been demanding independence in our country, he said, he's said by my brother Mutsvangwa to have killed about 100,000 people, 100,000 blacks, because he wanted to maintain white supremacism. But these people from 1980 up to present have killed more than 500,000 people in our country through political genocide. We know what they did in Matabeleland from 1980. We know what they did to Ndabalin's supporters in 1990 when he came back from the United States of America. We know what they did to the NTC since its inception to present. The genocide committed during the period of Bukulahunde and the genocide committed in 2008 cannot be expected to have been committed against your own people. So these people are worse than Ian Douglas Smith in terms of the way how they have killed the black people in this country. So they are a new black Ian Smith, who the people of Zimbabwe must reject, that these people have been running a segregated economy, where only those people in Zanu like him, that's why he is boasting, to say, come to Chichivu and see the plant that I am running there. But every single person in Zimbabwe who belongs to the opposition, who wants to run business in this country, is bombed, sabotaged, and attacked. And they want to, they have accumulated, they've got that primitive accumulation of wealth mentality, which belongs to them, that we must be the only ones who should eat in this country. And these people have been eating from 1980 up to present. And you would wonder what kind of throats,
You are not looking like
have they been given a different throat from all other Zimbabweans in that they cannot get satisfied for 42 years, eating and eating, looting and eating, looting and eating, looting and eating. So these people have got an unquenchable thirst for greatness.
I want us to
They
go to the
want
issue
to
of
accumulate.
election. Because we are
They want to accumulate. Then secondly, so misleading. My brother saying that it has been our president, advocate Nelson Chamisa, went to the United States of America.
He did.
And pleaded for sanctions. He knows well that he is the propaganda chief. I'm not the propaganda chief of the CCC. I'm not the propaganda chief of the CCC. Maybe if he could have been on the debate with Faza Mahira, I could have expected those statements. He knows it's purely rubbish. It's not the truth. It's not supported by any audio, video evidence. He wants to show us a picture of two people or three people standing on a corner having a picture. I have had many pictures with you, but I'm not Zanu-PF. I'm simply having a picture with you because you are one person whom I can talk to.
But my brother.
We are brothers, yes.
So what
but
is
what
is the brotherhood between Senator Kunz and the Chamisa in this picture?
Alright, what is the relationship between Emerson Mnangagwa and those British lords whom he had pictures with when he went to Scotland?
Well,
so the same applies to that.
No,
Nelson Chamisa is a major political player in this country. Advocate Nelson Chamisa is a major
climate control.
Advocate Nelson Chamisa is a major political player in this country. Wherever he goes, even at airports, he is the face of democracy in the world. Wherever he lands, he attracts the attention of even billionaires in the world to say this is a democracy fighter from Zimbabwe. This is a champion for democracy in Zimbabwe. Then they will ask to have selfies with him. He cannot run away from people as if he is uncivilized. But yourself, you have been even praising, to have been given smiles by Johnson. You have been even claiming to have held a very successful meeting with Biden. When in actual fact you knew, my brother, that was a misinformation, a lie from your Niki Mangwana and your George Sharaba. They claimed that your Mnangagwa had a meeting with Biden in Scotland, which was purely a lie. Why do you want to praise yourselves when you meet those people whom you say, when we are seen in company with a member of parliament who would simply say, I want to have a greeting with you and
can we go to the issue?
So the issue of sanctions again.
Completely.
So the issue of sanctions.
We want to debate.
I remember one of your greatest speeches that has changed even the mindset of Zimbabweans about you. When you stood up and said, a leader who consistently pontificates about sanctions, that leader is a failure. Mugabe has been complaining about sanctions for 20 years, and he has failed to have a formula to defeat those sanctions. So that is your greatest speech of all times. Even when you die, it will be remembered that Chris Mutsvangwa has given the Zimbabwean the correct narrative and position about sanctions. So for you today again to come back and make a somersault, to come and make a change the statements, why this you have clearly told us that a leader who fails for 20 years to defeat one enemy attack is a failure. So you are now admitting to us that you are a failure. In terms of the elections, you know that you even tried to vote by on the eve of elections. You have been distributing million all over the place in Zimbabwe, in all areas that were having.
But it's a drought. You want people to serve,
so they only have to eat when elections are there tomorrow. Can you bring the same million next week in St. Mary's? We saw you were even waiting at the polling station with bags of milk and trying to say if you go there, you can go and you have even put posters right next to the polling stations during the day of voting. In rural areas, people have been frog-marched to go and register their names first before a crawl head, before they went into the polling stations. Is that the electoral process that you want us to believe in this country? Do you know that the people who have been voting There was somebody who was recording all the names of people getting into the polling station before they voted at each and at the doorsteps of a polling station. In all polling stations throughout the country, they asked for their names, details, address, and their phone numbers. An intimidation tactic which ZEC applied in complicity with your political party. And also, don't try to patronize national institutions. Don't think the people in the military are as foolish as you want to portray it to the people. They know that you have missed the goals and aspirations of the liberation struggle. Many of them talk to us. They even understand how we have betrayed the will of our people. That's why Tendai to win with 2,890 votes at Chikurupi maximum prison and at support unit, while this was Zanu country to get 890, because these people were only showing you a middle finger, saying you are fools, don't patronize us, we don't fight police officers, we don't fight the army, we don't fight. These are institutions. We want them. We want a soldier when retired will be able to go to his home. With the Zambian government, a soldier is currently paid 42,000 RTGS.
Okay,
he's not able to send his child to school.
We are running out of time. I'll allow you the last opportunity to respond. Then we can close this program. It was getting heated, but over to you for direct response.
Well, the only takeaway is that he finally concedes that he has to respect our national institutions, including the army.
You know that I respect the army. You have been even talking to me privately, saying you respect you respect the army. Please don't say it's the first step. My brother, you have been telling me, okay, thank you because you respect the liberation.
We've been having a civil conversation.
Yeah, that's no, we still have it. We still have it.
Over to you,
So it's also a matter of kudos to ZEC that even those who are in the uniformed forces vote the way they want. This is because they are given an opportunity. But he has been mouthing a litany of accusations against ZEC as if ZEC is an instrument of Zanu PM, when it is not. Yesterday, on 26th April, it proved it is not by giving them 19 seats out of their spoils as the opposition. Can you, for a change, go and apologize to Justice Priscilla Chigumba and say, please, what we were saying about you was not true because the result has made us win? Can we have some sense of contriteness and go and apologize for besmirching him, for the calumny which you have been throwing at ZEC when it actually makes you win, and you are coming here to post about that win? Please own up, and be decent and apologize, or at least give a part to the institutions. Furthermore, you have had a bad history. Maybe now that you have settled your scores with Mutsvangwa, there can be a sense of maturity, because they are used to petty battles. You have won your petty battle against Mutsvangwa. The big battle is against Zanu PM. Maybe because you now feel pumped up after winning Mutsvangwa, can you go on a course of national responsible governance so that we talk and make Zimbabwe move forward as a nation? Don't try to constantly be bad-mouthing those whom you know are going to be the majority rule government with whom you must entreat. Being responsible opposition means taking your voters' choice seriously. Don't abandon parliamentary debates. Don't walk out on the President of the Republic when he goes into parliament and say we don't want to be associated. Don't expect the same person to then respect you if you don't give him the due respect which the Constitution is giving you by giving you ZEC, which gives you results. So please try to build upon your newfound sense of winning from 26 April and be positive. Thirdly, please cut your umbilical cord to those in the West who do not mean well for your country. Because those who impose sanctions against your country, they don't mean well for you. They will increase the poverty of this country. You say you are looking very fit, maybe even more fit than me today, but you are saying that we are looters. But you know, if you look at the between the two of us, you are doing very well. It means
No, but you know, I'm a lawyer.
yeah. So it's
I'm in a profession that pays.
that pays. You see,
Yeah.
this is good. That's what Zimbabwe has done to you. That's what Zambia have done to you. To give you a first, when I went to university to study law, well before you could go to even primary school, I was the only black lawyer who could have qualified, and a few others. It was all white. Zanu PF has made you become lawyers. Gallo. Teaching. We had to go to Cuba to train 6,000 teachers in our former military camps because parents were building schools more than at any other time in the history of this country. That's why with the high literacy rate of this country. That's why our Zimbabwean diaspora performs in Dubai, performs in London, because Zanu PF made them what they are. They are world-class citizens earning in hard currency jurisdictions abroad, because Zanu PF government over the years made them what they be, including you. But here you are, you can't even say thank you for being made to be what you are. You could have been a village head boy there in the rural area under Ian Smith, with Batawiza. But we changed your life. Please give us the credit for the things which we did for you, because this is the history of the country. You respect that. We can build upon the positives. Yes, there have been negatives. We also can criticize the negatives which we have done. But the opportunity is now that you have been given a responsible position by ZEC in the last elections. Take it seriously. Go and clean the rubbish in St. Mary's. People don't need that rubbish. And say, I'm repeating to you, if you don't clean that rubbish in St. Mary's, first, we of ZANU-PF, we have an urban renewal agenda. We will be taking you to task daily, and I am the information man of ZANU-PF. My cameras will every day be focusing on that pit of faces, which is in St. Mary's, because you are responsible as elected councillors in St. Mary's to remove that. That's what I'm telling you. If you don't, I'm going to make sure that in 2023, you are exposed to the electorate and you will not get a vote, because they will associate you with feces in the street, they will associate you with garbage, they will associate you with no running water, they will associate you with roads which have been disappeared, because that is the responsibility of you in St. Mary's as elected councillors, as elected MPs. So please go and do your job.
Thank you very much.
This is what you are elected for.
Thank you very much. We have just gone over our stipulated time, but because this was a very important national discussion that the people of Zimbabwe really need to listen to. The road to elections, the urban vote, here on Free Talk in partnership with the Frederick Newman Foundation. But before we go, I'll just give my speakers here just 2 minutes, under 2 minutes, to make their conclusions. Whoever wants to start.
Well, you can start, because I just said I don't want to monopolize.
No, you started when the debate started. So you cannot start and close. So I should close, because you are the one who have been given the first opportunity by the moderator, and I must be the last one to speak because you started to speak. So if I could have been the one who started to speak, I would have accepted to close.
All I'm saying is that the elections went well on the 26th of March. You came out well ahead of your rivals within your fractious opposition. You failed to make any inroads against the ZANU-PF strongholds. This is an indicator that your message is not getting through into the ZANU-PF strongholds. And since we already hold 2/3, if you cannot win seats away from the 2/3, you cannot hope to be a governing party in 2023. Additionally, we took 2 seats away from what were traditional MDC, now Triple strongholds. It means that our message, our president is getting through to the electorate to get seats from you. Thirdly, we won a clutch of council seats in local government elections. Most of them again in urban areas. It means that the urban electorate is beginning to make you accountable as city fathers for their day-to-day lives of the sordid nature of your city administration. These are things which you need to care for. Please, can you go and make sure that we do something about those things? Garbage, and collect, sewage, no running water, Because you are a government, you collect rates from the people, you collect their votes first, then you collect rates from them. These are the issues which you have to sort with your electorate. If you can't sort that with your electorate, we will sort it out for you using executive powers. But more than that, we will tell the electorate that the people whom we elect to government, they are eunuchs, they are political eunuchs. They can't be councillors. Majongos, that's what we will tell the electorate. And you will lose elections in 2023. So be very careful about your new responsibilities now, because you have won your petty little fight against Monzora. The big fight is against Zanu PF. We are going to give you a tsunami if you don't measure up. Measure up or ship out. That's my last word.
Thank you. Is that anybody would not see the red light on the magnificent performance of our electoral defeat of ZANU-PF at during the previous by-elections. That person needs to be examined in his mind. We want to thank the people of Zimbabwe for having given us the greatest mandate ever given to a political party of 2 months old to defeat a more than 60-year-old political party that has been there in existence, but has been given the run for its money by a 2 months old political party. So the people of Zimbabwe, you have clearly demonstrated that you are now ready for you to give the alternative young leadership the opportunity to steer the nation towards modernization, towards the new world, where we will be able to deliver first-class medical facilities in our country, first-class transport system, first-class road networks, and first-class developments, and a rapid industrialization in our country, where we will be able to harness all the talents of our Zimbabweans, both domestically and those who have been pushed into diaspora because of the failure of the 42 years of rulership by ZANU-PF in our country. We have got a lot of talent, a lot of many Zimbabweans, experts dotted throughout the world. We want them back for the reconstruction of our country. We need their expertise. Our country is going to be transformed into a first world country within the first 3 years. We are going to exceed the rapid development that we saw happening in Rwanda, the one that has happened in other African states. Our infrastructure is going to be the first one and the first class in Africa. And we are going to restore Zimbabwe where it was in 1980, before it was taken by looters who have looted everything for their own sake and to the destruction of our country. Zimbabwe was the second richest country in Africa. It's now number 4 poorest country. Is now on the number 4 poorest country in Africa, where the rate of unhappiness in our country is regarded as number 1 in the whole world. That our people are the most unhappy ones. They are dotted throughout the Southern African region, being ridiculed there, where they are being attacked and burned on the dead because of the failures of ZANU-PF. So we want to restore the dignity of our Zimbabwean people, whose dignity has been destroyed by this political party that has been in existence for the past 70 plus so years since 1963. So and it has been in power for 42 years, destroying every aspect of humanism in our country. Triple C is the future. Triple C is the new gaming town. Join Triple C as soon as possible before it is too late. I thank you for the wonderful interview, my brother Blessing. This has been one of the greatest interviews I have had with you, and through my brother, it has been a civilized engagement. It was an intellectual TISO here, and I really enjoyed it. My brother Mutsvangwa. We thank you very much for this. Thank you for finally realizing that ZANU-PF can give you proper elections.
Amazing. Thank you very much, viewers, for joining me here, Dara Blessed Mutsvangwa, with Madara Madara from the CCC and Zanu PF. Now, a democracy is an exchange of ideas. It is the better ideas of the day that should govern the country. Democracy should be minus violence, should be about ideas, it should be about building the nation. And here at Heart and Soul TV and Radio, in proud partnership with the Frederick Newman Foundation, we lay the foundation for dialogue. We lay the foundation for Zimbabweans to listen to themselves, to listen to each other, and be able to build their country together. We are all one. This is our country. We belong here. Like the President always says, we do not have any other except this. And like President of the CC always says, let us battle with ideas. I thank you very much for the amazing debate that we have had, Honorable Mutsvangwa, Ambassador. Say,
thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
We all take care.
Take care, my brother.
This is the Free Talk, Frederick Newman Foundation on Heart and Soul TV and Radio. Dara and Derenyu, Thank you very much.